Believe it or not, one of the biggest questions asked about Diablo Immortal is, will it be free? I brought my friend Nemo on today because we're gonna fill you in on this. Monetization, although we've discussed it before, we're gonna explain to you if it's actually free or not. What is up, my friends? My name is Echo. Welcome back to the channel. I'm stoked as always to have my friend Nemo with me. And although we recently talked about monetization on my channel and his as well, I wanted to talk to you about just the free element of the game. And Nemo, thanks for coming through to help me with this, man. I really appreciate it, and I like hanging out with you, let's be honest.
Well, I like hanging out with you as well, and the entire Echo fam. This is pretty exciting, right? We're getting closer and closer to Diablo Immortal. And of course, we're going to be talking about whether Diablo Immortal is free, a question that a lot of people are asking, so let's get right into it.
Yeah, and there's a couple of ways that we can answer this. So I'm going to answer it the straight up, without looking too deep into things, answer first. And the cool thing about this topic here today, guys, is Nemo and I, we differ a little bit in our opinions on this. So let's start out with, is Diablo Immortal free? In a nutshell, Diablo Immortal is free. You could download Diablo Immortal, play it for years, as long as you want, every single day, and you could do this without spending a dime. And you could actually participate in most things inside of Diablo Immortal for free. Now, I say most things because if you want to play in some of the really high level stuff, I'm talking about maybe being an immortal, although you could have a friend that brings you along with you, of course. But if you want to play up there and really be, just know that you're going to be getting a spot up there, it would be very hard to do in a server that has people paying if you're not paying at all and if you are completely 100% free to play. But if you're someone that doesn't care about your rank, you don't care about being the best in the world, and you just want to play casually, have fun, slay demons, and really do it for unlimited amounts of time, you can do all of that for free. Now, Nemo, you're here to kind of talk about where some of those limitations are, because of course we know there's the battle pass, we know that there's the boon of plenty, we know with just getting some type of revision as well, we know that there's ways to spend inside of the game that are going to make you stronger or more quickly enhanced, we could say, but it doesn't mean you have to do those things. So Nemo, can you take us through some struggles that a free-to-play player may run into? Yeah, like of course they could play for free, but they may run into some roadblocks along the way. So kind of share with us what some of those may be.
So as a free-to-play player, you're going to be looking for legendary gems, right? You need those legendary gems. There's going to be a lot of those crests that you're going to need, and there's a very finite amount of those that you can get by doing stuff in the game. There's going to be a lot of really roadblocks for you, and those legendary crests give you the legendary gems, which of course if you put into your character will give you offensive defensive ratings as well as the boost in your own power. It's a really big bump. Now, taking those legendary gems, and you're gonna need to upgrade them higher and higher and higher, and eventually you're gonna run into a few blocks where, as a free-to-play player, you're not gonna go any further. Like gem resonance, for example, it requires you to have, it basically requires you to spend some money. So who is that really gonna affect? It's gonna affect players who are gonna wanna play at the highest levels. And the highest levels, you talked about the immortals, right? There's only 500 immortals per server, and there's could be, I don't know, thousands and thousands, right? Tens of thousands of players. So out of all of those, only 500 are immortal. And out of all of those, only one is the actual immortal with 4 more captains. It's a really competitive cycle as far as, you know, as far as the game goes. Now, also, you might need to pay if you were gonna play maybe in the highest levels of the challenge rifts, right? At the highest levels, if you're competing to be like the 1s and the 2s, you're gonna need a lot of power. You'll probably be competing against those types of players. So in places like that, you're gonna feel it. But everywhere else, I'd say, like you said, you'll be able to play the game for free without any problems.
All right, so in a nutshell, what Nemo is saying is, if you want to push to be one of the best in your server, or if you want to push to be one of the best in the world, and you're that type of a competitive person, you're going to be going up against other competitive people in the same nature who will be spending money to get there. And because they're going to be able to enhance themselves, get those gems and the gem resonance that you wouldn't be doing if you were free to play, you would run into some roadblocks there. Now, I want to point out, this is a very small percentage of people that are going to be playing Diablo Immortal. But for someone that does want to, if you watching this video want to be the best player in your server, you can expect to have to spend money to get there. You're probably not going to be able to be one of the top players if you are 100% free to play. I think that's fair to say. But if you want to play casually and even still be very competitive, play at a high level, you can do that as free to play. Although another thing I want to jump in here and say, Nemo, is there's nothing wrong, and it's actually, in my opinion, good to support the company that's making the content that you play every single day. And some of the ways of doing this are not expensive at all. If you were to go buy a new Diablo game, you're looking at $60 to $100, depending on what version of the game you get. You're getting Diablo Immortal for free. So to spend $5, $10, $15 per month to play it, it really is supporting the game, supporting further development of the game, and it's just, in my opinion, a good way to support something that you're spending a lot of time doing. I mean, even if you think of World of Warcraft, that was a free game, but you had to pay to play. It was just, there was a subscription fee to play that game back in the day. Remember those days, Nemo? Were you one of those guys?
I still am. And you know, the interesting part about, like you mentioned, the whole Diablo thing. And you know, this Diablo Immortal is a new type of Diablo. A lot of people aren't really getting that. You can't compare it to the regular Diablo. Diablo Immortal is going to be worldwide. It's going to have multiple servers. They're going to support thousands of peoples and instances of peoples at the same time. You want them to be up at all times. You want them to log in. You want them to have multiple updates. Just the amount of hardware that it would take to run that type of environment and to be snappy fast, because we all play it. We know how it is. It performs really well. We all want the best of the best as gamers. And if you're going to want that, forget just being able to pay for that type of development cycle, right? How much does it cost for a developer per year? How many of those do you need to just set up all of that stuff? So the whole idea here is, if you want a game like that to live, and if you want all of the things that we want, if we want crossplay, if we want to make sure there are no bots, if we want Blizzard to do everything basically, and which, by the way, they actually have, you're gonna basically need to make sure that you support this game. Just the amount of hardware, like I said, it's gonna be insane. Just the payment, the monthly payment on Diablo Immortal servers, I mean, I wonder how much that would be. So all in all, it's not really the same type of game as Diablo. It's not really you just play it, get in with friends, and that's it. There's thousands of systems and things that are involved here, the networking and all the rest of that stuff. I know I'm talking geek here, but at the end of the day, like I know this type of stuff. At the end of the day, it costs so much money to do that. It is not the same as Diablo. It is more like World of Warcraft, which had a subscription. And this is one of the reasons it had a subscription, because he had a whole bunch of updates. He had a live development team. There was moderators on the servers. There was a whole bunch of stuff involved that all costs money. It is not the same as all the rest of the games. So yeah, I really do think there's completely different type of way of thinking when it comes to payment systems and how they can recover the money. And if we want a game like that to live, there has to be a compromise. So this is probably where it is.
I'll tell you, Nemo, I love when you talk geek, man. You could talk geek all day to me, man, and I'll be here to listen to you. So thank you for that. But we did stray a little bit. The short answer is, if you're a player that doesn't have any money or has just not enough money where you could spare even a $5 battle pass per month, that's fine. We want you playing the game as a free-to-play player. There is a place for you inside of Diablo Immortal, or honestly, any game that's free to play. And if you're a player that doesn't want to spend a ton of money but still wants to throw a little bit of support, that you're the battle pass guy or girl. You're the one that's going to get the battle pass, throw a few bucks at it, support it, and get a little bit of a boost from that. And then you're going to have the whales who are going to buy everything that they can. They're going to be the ones that are trying to push to be the strongest and the best. And they're the ones that are going to kind of be making up for some of the people that are free to play. At the end of the day, Blizzard is going to make what they need to make to keep the game supported. And I think that it's important that we have all of these different types of people. It makes for a good environment for the game to see success and to have continued longevity, which is really what we want the most. Is it okay to be free to play? 100%. Is it okay for you to go and spend a few bucks a month to support the game and to get the battle pass? Of course. Is it okay that if the game allows you to spend all the money that you want to do that? Yes, it's okay, and you are going to get some benefits from that, as long as we go in with the expectations of what we get for what position we stand in, I think we're okay. I know I'm a realistic person. I'm not trying to be the best in the world. I'm not trying to be the best in the server, and I may never even try to be an immortal myself. I may just enjoy my time as a shadow, because that's personally what I've been enjoying the most with the current way that the systems are set up. So for me, I'd be happy being one of those middle spenders. Now, I'm also a content creator, so I'm going to want to be purchasing things that may pop up in the game so that you guys can experience what those things look like as well, so I can make content for you. But if I were not a content creator, I'd probably be the most comfortable just sitting in that middle tier, supporting the company for the game that I'm playing on a regular basis, and getting the small benefit from it, but not really diving in and spending a ton of money. But the short answer here, Nemo, we've talked a long time about it, is yes. Diablo Immortal is free to play, and you could play all of it. You won't be cut off on how long you could play per day. You won't be cut off on any amount of gains that you could have per day. You can play all day long, all of the content, as long as you could reach that level, and there's no limits there. All for free, and it's up to you if you decide to spend or not. There's nothing forcing you to spend to play the game. Now, I was just talking to Nemo on the side, and he brought up PvP, player versus player. I'm going to let him take this topic here and let us know, can a free-to-play player compete in PvP inside Diablo Immortal? Nemo, what are your thoughts?
This is a tough one because the PvP system is not finished yet. There could be a whole bunch of balancing changes and etc. But as it is right now, yeah, it's going to be really tough and almost, I would say, impossible for a free-to-play player to compete with a pay-to-win player, or someone that's going to, you know, buy the gems to the highest levels. Because once you get past a certain point, those gems, they provide you the ORDR, right? The offensive defensive rating, which is how hard you hit and how hard you can get hit. But at the same time, they also boost your the actual base attributes of whatever you're wearing as well. And on top of that, some of those gems like literally bring you back to life, right? So like the Phoenix of the Ashes is a really good PvP gem. But if you level it, the 5-star gem, you level it past level 10, you get gem resonance on it, you're gonna hit really, really hard. And as far as a free-to-play player, I don't think they're gonna even be able to get anywhere as near the gem resonance to be able to compete. So unless there's another system in there somehow that balances out PvP and doesn't take that into effect or levels everybody out, there's gonna be a pretty big difference between the PvP players that pay and the PvP players that don't, for sure. Yeah.
And you just brought up a great point there, and that's about the systems. If there's a ranking system where you're ranked based on how strong you are or based on how successful you are in PvP, then a lot of this could be worked out. Because if I'm a free-to-play player, I'm not going to have the ability, because I'm not going to have the power to win my way up to the level of some of the pay-to-win players. So I would naturally be sitting in PvP in a range with people that are similar to me. Either skill-wise, power-wise, it's going to all balance itself out. It's basically how you just kind of set up your levels inside of PvP. Or there could be other PvP modes that don't at all take into account your power. The best one that I've brought up many times is the Battle Royale mode. Maybe we'll do another video on that in the future, because as you guys know, I could talk about that forever. But right now, there's a few things that I want to say. First of all, I have to go over to Nemo's channel because we're about to talk about another completely different topic relating Diablo Immortal to Diablo 3. Nothing that we've talked about here today within this video. So Nemo and I are going to go talk about that. But first, Nemo, I believe you have an invitation for everyone.
I do have an invitation for everybody. We started a clan family called the Scrappy Echoes. We've talked about it in some of the other videos. And at this point in time, we're over 1,000 strong. We have clans set up. And we have a place for you to come and hang out with us and the rest of the family. There's so many clans in different regions as well. We have clans in North America, we have clans in EU, we have clans in Southeast Asia, we have clans in Australia. We have so many different people that are already there, already hanging out. So if you're interested in Diablo Immortal, if you want to just come hang out with us and say hi to the community, because we have tons of people who are ready to like answer questions, to help you with things and etc. Come on down to the Scrappy Echoes. It's a great place. Make sure to let us know that you want to join the clan family when you do, and we'll take care of you. And honestly, just can't wait to hang out with everybody and get started with Diablo Immortal.
And lastly, before we go, I want to remind everyone that the Immortal podcast is returning. Nemo and I will be live this weekend talking about everything Diablo Immortal, taking your questions in the live chat. That podcast can be found live right here on my YouTube channel. Make sure you come through with your questions. We will address all of them. But Nemo, let's head on over to your channel and talk about Diablo 3 versus Diablo Immortal. It's a topic I'm really looking forward to. Tell everyone about your channel before we go.
Sure, sounds good. I look forward to that. I'm on Scrappy Academy over there on YouTube, where I talk Diablo Immortal all of the time, nonstop, every day. And the man that you're hanging out with right here, Echo Gaming, is in a lot of those videos as well. In fact, we're going over there right now to do this video. I'm pretty pumped about that. So I'll see you all over there.
Let's go do it, Nemo. Guys, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell, and I'll see you over on Nemo's channel. Have a great day and be good.